Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Grow Your Life podcast. My name is Jeremiah Krakowski, and on this podcast, I help coaches, trainers, mentors, and speakers make more money, get more clients, and scale their businesses. Now, I'm excited today. I want to talk about something that I've noticed is a problem that I haven't addressed a whole lot, and part of it is because I myself even struggled with this. And I would, full disclaimer, tell you that I would not claim to be at the top of the mountain having all the solutions to this, but there are some things that I have learned and some things that I feel more confident today in than I ever have. And that is that you have to break free from this thinking that lack and living in lack and living without and below your means and not having enough time or money or resources is just a lot in life that you're given, and that's how things are always going to be because that's how they've always been, and that it's a badge of honor, and that you just have to figure out how to make it work within the bounds of those limitations. This thinking is often summed up and is called the poverty mindset. And what it is, it's a mindset that's rooted in lack, poverty, don't have enough, there's not enough to go around. You know, if I gain, I'm taking away from somebody else. It manifests in a number of different ways. The number one way that I see it manifest, though, with coaches and mentors and trainers, and I've seen it in my coaching groups, is people, they will hear all the strategies about how to get clients, how to grow a business, how to make 6 and 7 figures. And the first thing they say is, well, I don't really have a whole lot of money to be able to do that sort of stuff. Or I don't have enough time to be able to work on getting clients. Or, you know, I just don't know enough. Even that lack of knowledge, it's all tied to lack. And when you shift your thinking into an abundance mindset, a mindset of there will always be enough, I always have enough. And even, now listen, I do believe time is a valuable resource. And we need to be disciplined with our time. And we're not promised tomorrow. So I understand that. So this is not to conflict with that. But there's this thinking of rush through things instead of letting things take their time and realizing that you have enough time to accomplish the goals that you have. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to be lazy and we're going to sit around and we're going to do nothing. Okay? So you hold those two ideas in your mind at the same time, as not that you have a lack of time, but actually that you have enough time and that you can get done everything you need to in the time that you have. And what this does is this comes from a place of gratitude. This comes from a place of you looking at your life. And I was challenged with this by looking at my own life and how I was complaining about my lack of time while having a wonderful newborn child in my life, 5-month-old right now, and the less time that I have right now. And I noticed I was complaining about how much I lacked. And 2 years ago, I was complaining about how I didn't have enough financial resources to actually start to grow my business. Now, in the present reality that you live in, that might be true. Like, logically, that might be true. Okay, so we're not denying, we're not going into denial about what we're experiencing. But we're not letting it define us and be the lens and filter through which we make our decisions. To where your present reality is not the lens and filter through which you make your decisions. And what this takes is stepping out in faith, even when you have no guarantee or certainty of how things are going to turn out, even when you don't have all the resources. But you start declaring and you start believing and you start living and making decisions in your business as if you have all the resources that you want. Again, I'm not condoning going into a bunch of debt and being stupid. Not at all. See, it's funny. People conflate good advice with what they believe I might be saying. So that's why I have to kind of explain and explain like what I mean by this. What I mean is that when you go out there, sure, it might be your last $300 right now to run this campaign. But be okay if it doesn't produce the result that you want. And realize that you can always go out there and get more money. There's always more money that you can get. That you can become resourceful. That you are resourceful. And stop declaring and living in lack. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough of what I need to do the things that I feel called to do. That's one of the biggest blocks that we can end up putting up in our lives, is believing that we don't have enough of something. And that is rooted in the poverty mindset. And so what you want is you want an abundance mindset, and a mindset that there is always more than enough. There's always another day. There's always another opportunity. There's always another chance. There's always another moment. And when I say that, instantly our brain goes into, yes, but time is finite and tomorrow is not promised and all these things that sound great, right? But when it comes to the reality of you actually taking action in your business, they're not going to help you by focusing on the fact that, okay, I'm not promised tomorrow. That can motivate me to take action. But I'm not going to kill myself, nor am I going to feel negative and complain about how little time I have left. And that be the focus of my energy. No, my energy needs to be focused on what am I building today with the time that I have, and how can I make the most out of the resources that I have. And it's going to be amazing, and it's going to be incredible, and I'm so excited to see what happens. And I'm so excited to see what comes out of this. It might not be perfect, but it's going to be worth it. That is a shift in your thinking. And you got to shift away from, I see it all the time. I'll talk to somebody, 80 to 90% of what comes out of their mouth is, I don't have enough money to make my business work. That's all they're focused on. That's all they're focused on. I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I need something different to happen in my life, an external circumstance, in order to create my life. And this is a victim mentality, that you are a victim to your circumstance. And when it combines with the poverty mindset, the chances of you succeeding in your business are very small. Now, I have seen people succeed. I have. But your energy is going to be so focused on operating within the boundaries of what you don't have, instead of creatively thinking. So you might have an idea when you're in an abundance mindset that will actually pull you out of the lack mindset. I want to give you an example of this that's just like crazy. Is if you're so focused on what you don't have, you're gonna miss opportunities for how you can make the most out of what the resources you do have, because you're wishing the situation was different. And then when you get into the situation, hindsight is always 20/20. You know, we put in an offer into our house this week, and our just getting personal here, but our rent on our current house, not that we can't afford it, but you know, our lease ends in November. And I was like, man, we're going to have to come up, 4 months of rent on top of the mortgage. And then it dawned on me after I put the offer in. Literally, I've been thinking about that, even stressing about it for over a year, subconsciously. The lack mindset. And after I put in the offer, I realized, wait a sec. If we close in July, they're not going to ask for the first payment till September. That's only 2 rent payments. And yet I was worried about that. I've had that happen numerous times where I catastrophize and worry about and try to manage and try to make sure to manage and hold it all together with the limited resources that I have, instead of just going after the goal, plowing forward, moving forward, and making the best of it and enjoying the process. When you start to do that, it unlocks pathways in your brain of creativity that are legitimately blocked from thinking out of a lens of well, I don't have enough time, money, connections, resource mindset. And you have to change that thinking in order for the creativity to come through in your brain. And now your actions will actually start to follow that. And that will produce more. You know the old phrase, man, the rich always just get richer and richer and richer. Well, it's because they're operating out of that abundance mindset. It's not actually because they have a ton of resources. I'm telling you that as somebody who's been on the sides of broke and the sides of rich. It's how you think and your creativity, because you will become resourceful when it's important enough to you. But most people won't. And most people will fight for their limitations, and they'll fight for what's not working, and they'll fight for their lack. And they'll argue for what they don't have access to, instead of realizing all the abundance that's right in front of them. And so I want you to shift into an abundance mindset, even if everything in your life is telling you otherwise. Start to put on, what would it feel like if I had all the financial resources that I needed? What would it feel like for everything to start going the way that I wanted it to? Even if manifest in your life, it's not. Being able to experience that will start to put your brain in a way of, it'll start to become more creative, and the neurotransmitters and pathways will start to come up with ideas for how to actually work within your current situation, which is incredible. From operating from a mental creative lens of abundance. And so this is why we need no help to go towards the worst case scenario as human beings. Our brains just automatically do it. We have to be intentional to say, you know what? Yeah, thanks for that. But I'm not going to focus my brainwave energy on what's not going how I wish it should be, could be, would be, that would help me. And I'm going to focus on the dream, the goal, the vision, the future that may not be exactly what's in front of me right now, but that I know is possible for me. And I'm going to start to live from that reality of the future, from the reality of abundance, instead of out of lack, out of what I don't have. And you'll be amazed how quickly things start to come together for you. I've seen it happen in my life. I've seen it happen in so many other people's lives. This is one of the biggest secrets behind a lot of the success and the successful people that you know. Now, that's not to knock strategy. The strategies are important, but I've seen people have all the strategies, even have all the resources, and still operate out of a poverty mindset. There's a lady I met, I coached her a while back. She was afraid to spend $300 on Facebook ads when she had a multi-million-dollar stocks portfolio because she didn't want to waste money to try out an offer, to test something out. And I just, it gripped her in fear of it not working. You got to break up with this. It's a way that our brains are wired. And it's often through pain and trauma and situations is why it gets wired that way. But we got to be intentional to shift out of it, to start to see ourselves living in abundance, living from a future where we have everything that we've ever wanted. And then we start to make decisions from that perspective into our present reality and watch things shift for you. All right? I know that this is going to help you. I know this is going to help somebody. Grow your life, everybody. We'll talk soon.